Good evening, everybody. Take a few minutes to talk a bit about Antifa. There's something that the right doesn't seem to quite understand about this stuff. The left, isn't really aware of it. The public kind of isn't aware how this thing works. But why Antifa, like the Black Bloc, etc., really are fairly well organized and funded because there's a system for how they do things. Now, one thing that is frequently complained about by the right is they'll look and say, wait a second, our guys are getting charged with these, crimes and charged with this stuff, but the Antifa people are never getting charged. Yeah, there's a reason for that. There's actually a good reason for that. When you have a group of people who are engaged in what is, let's just call it a criminal activity, but they're covered with masks. They are dressed alike. They look alike. They go in crowds. They operate as a crowd. They operate such that an individual identity becomes extremely difficult. I mean, I can think of one case many years ago, Eric Clanton, but it literally did. It took a bunch of guys on 4chan to kind of put it together to investigate who this guy was that knocked somebody over the head with a bike lock, and they were able to make a positive identification with it. Well, these Black Bloc, these Antifa guys, there actually is a structure to what they do. They actually have kind of the ground people. They have some leadership that put on courses. They put on seminars. They have lawyers. Okay, this is stuff. They get legal advice. They understand this is what they have to do in order to present a defense to a case. So the prosecution, in order to indict somebody, in order to arrest somebody, in order to convict somebody, has to establish a particular identity, that the particular person who committed this crime, they've got to get that identity down. Well, if you have 10 of them gathered together, who's the one who actually did it? How do these 10 people that all kind of look alike? And then they're also trained to know, you don't know who did it. You're not going to be able to get a positive. There's reasonable doubt. They are able to raise reasonable doubt as to whether or not this person who would be charged is actually the person who did it. All right. They also know, hey, in the event of arrest, you stay quiet. You don't find these people, these Antifa people who are being arrested. You don't find any of these Karen videos from the body cams of these people being arrested because they have been educated. What are they going to do if they end up getting arrested? They're going to shut the fuck up, which is what they're supposed to do. And then they end up getting released. There is not enough evidence with which to, oh, come on, you can indict anybody, but the prosecutors are going to look at it and say there's not enough evidence with which to convict this person. And they end up being released. This is contrary to, say, any of these other people. All right, let's just bring up, the Proud Boys. They're not dressed in masks. They're out there. This is who I am. And they participate in these fights and these battles. Yeah, they're going to get arrested. They're going to get charged because they're easy to identify. I think this is part of what the present administration is looking for. There is the funding that keeps these lawyers on. There's funding for these people who are these organizers. The funding for those who put on these seminars. How to go ahead and do this Black Bloc stuff. How to go ahead and punch a Nazi and get away with it because they have no idea who the hell actually is the one who hospitalized that guy. That's how it goes. There's the part of me that looks at this stuff and says, it's pretty fucked up when you think of a situation like that. But there's the other part of me that looks at it and says, yeah, these guys are smart. These people, they know what they're doing. It's the straight up, mob lawyer stuff that here, it's, yeah, lawyers. Yeah, freaking lawyers. Here's how they do it. Yeah, that's it. Enough. Well, yeah, brief little point.